Good morning, everybody, and thank you for attending this session. I guess that now you want to know a bit more about Bonita Platform, so stay with me. I'm going to give you an overview of Bonita and our brand new offer, Bonita Cloud. But first of all, let me introduce myself quickly. I am Delphine Coille. I've been working for Bonitasoft for the last 6 years, first of all as a customer success manager, where I could follow our customers, making sure they would be happy, and I was their advocate. And now I am the advocate of our community by being evangelist and community manager. So I'm going to tell you about Bonita. And as you can read here, Bonita is an open and extensible digital business platform for development teams. It is recognized by Gartner and Forrester analysts as a reference as an open source solution. But why? Because really, Bonita is open source. It's our DNA. It's part of our history. We have built Bonita as an open source solution first. We have a large and liable community, and we always make sure we will guarantee an open and extensible architecture based on open source frameworks. But now, let's talk about Bonita. What is really Bonita? As a developer, you might want to build an application thanks to custom development. Why? Because it will meet specific enterprise needs. Your business analyst or your users want that and nothing else. So you will develop it using custom code. But the fact is that you will need specified software developers, a big IT team sometimes, and it's quite long. Everything was custom and it will be difficult to maintain. So, at the opposite, you might choose not to develop anything and try to have an out of the box solution. That's easy because you have no code. It's quick. And even if your IT team is small and if you have only citizen developers which are not specialized in a specific language, you will be able to develop something. But this will not meet specific needs. It's standard and it will give you graphical tooling that are not extensible nor agile. And that's what Bonita offers. We have a low code solution, which means that you will have the minimum of coding thanks to our tooling and frameworks, but it will give the ability to develop if you want or if you need, or use the out of the box tooling we offer if you don't want to code. We make sure you can work on an iterative and collaborative development. The business user will tell them about their needs. You start your coding, they change their mind. You can adapt. It's easy. And then we meet complex enterprise needs. Why? Bonita is extensible. Bonita is integrated totally in your IT with the other applications, thanks to the API, REST API extensions, connectors. And we also offer graphical tooling, but if you choose, you can develop your user interface on your own. So, how does it work? You are going to start with modeling your data with your users and your stakeholders because you want to make sure that you are going to meet their business needs. Then you can define the task and the process flow or define first the user interface. It's up to you. So it's very flexible. And then you will integrate Bonita with other systems. So it's easy, it's flexible, and you will always work in collaboration with your business users. How is structured Bonita application? Which is a set of artifacts. So you will have resources, look and feel, the organization, the profiles, the processes, data, and so on. Bonita is split into 3 layers to make sure that you can separate them and work in parallel, for example, on the process modeling, while you are working on the user interface. And the consistency between those 3 layers is done thanks to the contract, which will make sure that you will not use data that is not allowed in your user interface, for example. Then you will develop and implement Bonita, and display it on any kind of devices, computers as such as mobile interfaces. If I go a bit deeper in the architecture to understand better how this factory works, the platform is a set of components that will help you develop, deploy, and maintain your applications. First of all, you are going to deploy thanks to Bonita Studio, built with an application designer where you are going to define your organization, your processes with your tasks, your connectivity, and also the execution set. Then you have the UI designer where you are going to define your user interface, your forms, the applications. Everything can be stored and work using versioning and collaboration. When it's ready, you are going to deploy it on a Bonita runtime, where you will have access to the Bonita storage with one database for the engine, which is going to store all the processes information, and one business database where you are going to store all the business data that you will need for runtime. So your runtime is provided with a Bonita portal, which will give you all the ability to administrate your platform and your processes, and Bonita living applications that you can fully customize to be used by end users on their screen or their mobile. But if you decide not to use the UI designer or the Bonita living application, you can only use Bonita Engine runtime and storage and develop your custom applications and then connect everything to all the other applications you have in your IT system thanks to the APIs and the connectors. Of course, as we are an enterprise solution, we want to make sure that we can be run, Bonita can run critical processes or high load processes and be fast. So Bonita runtime can be set as a cluster for high availability or high performance. Now that you know everything about Bonita, let's talk about the add-on of Bonita. In order to make sure that when you deploy your application, you can be efficient, you can automate as well the way you are going to implement, we worked on a Bonita continuous delivery add-on. And in order to make sure that when you are in your runtime, you want to improve everything continuously, we developed a new module as well called Bonita Intelligent Continuous Improvement. Let me tell you a bit about Bonita Continuous Delivery first. The goal of this add-on is really to better integrate Bonita into all the modern and automated development environments. So we deliver a framework for continuous integration of living apps, and we deliver all the frameworks tooling to make sure that your solution can be deployed, provisioned, and maintained in a cloud environment. So we are going to work with Ansible, with Docker, with Jenkins, for example. If we talk about Bonita Intelligent Continuous Improvement, the goal here really is to make sure that we help developers and also operation managers improving the processes by anticipating issues and inefficiencies. How does that work? We have defined an artificial intelligent process mining algorithm to make sure that you can analyze processes on the archived cases and predict the behavior of those processes to help the monitoring operator or the developer make changes and make decisions. For example, you can anticipate sometimes that there will be an overload and predict that cases will be late. You can then re-affect cases to another person in order to avoid the cases to be late. Or you will see that, for example, a step in the process is really unuseful and it will help you improve your process. So the aim here is really to enhance the human decision by artificial intelligence algorithm and not replace the decision. Something else really interesting, if you really want to process a full digital transformation strategy, is the robotic process automation, We have a partnership with UiPath in order to make sure that you can automate um, all your process. How? If you already have a BPM, it's really interesting to add RPA to it. Why? Because the RPA will handle all the repetitive and unvaluable tasks. If you already have RPA and you add BPM to this solution, you will be able to manage and orchestrate all the manual approvals and business rules while the automated task will go on with RPA. So the best is to use them together because then you will be able to implement an end-to-end digital transformation. You will be able to combine human and robots to have repetitive tasks handled by the machine and the human keeping the valuable tasks. So how does it work? We are going to integrate Bonita and UiPath thanks to connectors and APIs. On Bonita side, we have a native connector to launch UiPath workflows. But we also have a callback API which will give information to UiPath if something happens and if we have messages. On UiPath side, they added 3 new activities in their studio to start a Bonita process, to send a BPM message, and validate a human task. So you have a full two-ways integration between Bonita and UiPath. Finally, if you really want to have an end-to-end digital transformation but remain flexible, we can add adaptive case management thanks to Bonita. How does that work? We think in Bonita that any process is a mix of unstructured and structured tasks. Structured tasks are good because then you will try to optimize your process. But sometimes something you never predicted can happen, or you can have an incident, or you need to handle something specific in your process. If you only have structured tasks, you can't do that. But if you only use a case management view with unstructured task, you cannot monitor uh, correctly. You are not in an improvement loop. So the best for us, and that's our conviction, is that you use a mix of them. So use adaptive business processes to provide freedom, to provide agility to work, and use task and BPM processes to remain in the process and handle each cases with automation and integration. So here, thanks to all those tools, we are going to have a full end-to-end digital transformation. To conclude, I would like to talk to you about Bonita Cloud offer. It's new, it's for fast, scalable, and cost-effective business applications. We now offer runtimes ready to use and managed by us. They will be always up to date with monitoring and SLAs guaranteed by Bonitasoft in terms of maintenance and support. Migration and upgrades managed by Bonitasoft as well, which means that you won't have to perform your migration anymore and your upgrades, they are done automatically. Of course, as we do on premise, we are going to offer all the continuous delivery capabilities. Why we did that? We thought it would be very interesting for users to reduce cost, to avoid an initial provisioning investment, and to guarantee continuity of service. Then, if you need, you can scale, and it will be easier to maintain as the migration are handled by Bonita. How does that work? You still have a Bonita development suite on premise on your computers to design your processes and your user interface, and that you are going to deploy them on Bonita Cloud on the platform using continuous delivery and the platform management. Then it will be provisioned and deployed on a Bonita runtime. We offer integration, pre-production, and production to make sure that you can use them and maintain them as if it was on premise. Bonita runtime in the cloud will give the same capabilities and offer as on premise. You will keep exactly the same features, the same connectors, the same connectivity thanks to the same APIs, the same engine, and exactly the same tools. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have questions, feel free to add your comments under the video in our Bonitasoft channel on YouTube, or feel free to join our community and ask your question in our Q&A section. We will be happy to answer and help you. Thank you very much. Bye.